Hi, I'm Ryf Quail, Managing Director of NRF Retail's Big Show Asia Pacific, and this is Five Things Friday APAC edition.
Hello.
Hello, Alex. I am enjoying you, Alex. I'm very good, mate. I'm very good. I'm getting good at these intros. I think
They're fantastic.
I know, Alex.
We're going to try and keep this to 15 minutes. We'll start with your two top of mind items, and then I'll let you crack on, and then I'll share my three.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Yep. I'm going to go first. I'll talk about my two. Okay. Fine. Let's talk about my two. The first one, we are really in an age of the third and fourth digital media waves. The first digital media wave was search. Now, search took about 15 years to hit $30 billion US, right? Then we had social, led by Facebook. Took about 11 years to hit $30 billion. Then the third wave, and this is the one we're most interested in. The third wave in retail media was led by Amazon, and it soared to $1 billion in 2016 to $30 billion in just 5 years.
Right.
Now, that is incredible. So if you think about that was led by Amazon, but now the world is changing. So in 2025, the share of retail media globally, 37% of that will come from China. So retail media in Asia Pacific is absolutely booming. Yeah. So this is pretty fascinating because we've had the launch, but really now China and the rest and Asia Pacific is really, really growing dramatically and contributing a significant share. The US is only around 40%. So we're only talking 3% difference between China and the US, where this all started with Amazon in 2016.
Got you.
So when we think about retail media, though, in Asia Pacific, you're looking at the markets, and it's very, very diverse. So China is incredibly mature. Retail media is essentially embedded as part of e-commerce. So JD, Alibaba, those big platforms. Also in the social commerce players, TikTok, obviously, and the other Chinese social players. And these are really just dominating the landscape domestically and then starting to reach outside of China. Japan, North Asia is pretty advanced all the way through. So we're looking at places like Japan and South Korea are also pretty advanced. So Rakuten and Yahoo in New Zealand. Oh, sorry, New Zealand. I said New Zealand. Rakuten and Yahoo in Japan. Coupang in South Korea. These are hugely mature platforms already. But when I look at the other markets, it's all still about scale. There's so much upside. And this is where I think that we'll see Asia Pacific go past North America and Europe in terms of as a region in terms of retail media. In Australia, retail media is scaling quickly, but it's still nascent. It's still at the beginning. And SEA, it's really scaling really, really quickly. And then you've got these other early stage high growth potential. So India, we haven't even talked about India yet, and that is small and early stage. But you can imagine with the scale of India, and you think how India is going to be bigger than China, and it's only just starting there.
Yeah.
And then we look at places like the Philippines and Vietnam, which are having huge economic growth in those markets. They're youth markets. They're very well connected. So we're going to see some massive and big populations too. So we're going to see some pretty significant growth in our region. And I would expect in the next 5 years, the dominant retail media region in the world will be Asia Pacific. So that's my first point.
Okay.
And I think it's if China's 37% and the US is 40%, look out the rest of the world when these other markets come on stream because it's going to be big. Big, big, big. The second thing I'm going to talk about is shopping malls and shopping malls in Southeast Asia. Now, Southeast Asia, shopping malls are real destinations and a sense of culture, dining, entertainment. But what we're finding really, and that's a lot to do with temperature, that's a lot to do with the way lifestyle is in these markets because it's most of the time it's pretty hot. So they're quite nice and cool and air conditioned. But one of the things we're starting to see is a real separation of Thailand from the rest of the region. And Thailand is a country with both scale and maturity. So if I look at on this graph here, I want to talk a little bit about what sets them apart because Bangkok is the epicenter of shopping malls in Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
So when I talk about if you go to Southeast Asia and start to look around in terms of malls, you've got ICONSIAM, you've got MBK, you've got Central Group in Thailand, also a big conglomerate who are running malls. So these malls are amazing. There's entertainment options, there's dining options. They are real centers of the world for this. And if you go and have a look at some of these malls' websites, when you have a look at it'll take your breath away.
Yeah.
But in terms of, I just wanted to plot this because it sort of gives you a bit of a sense of where they're at. And Thailand, I speak to people in sort of Korea, China, Japan, they see Thailand as the tipping off point. They see it as the experiential mall capital of Southeast Asia. This is where, big malls, big flagship stores are. And Thailand really, in Southeast Asia now, leads the way in terms of retail tourism of the 6 APAC nations. For me, if you look at this little more maturity curve is indicative. I found online, but it sort of reflects the values in terms of. So on the vertical axis, it's asset quality and experience.
Yeah,
and on the horizontal axis, it's scale and pipeline and growth, right? And so what we're seeing here is on the top left-hand corner, you can see Singapore, which has amazing assets and quality, and quite often it's off the scale, because it's well over 9. But Singapore only has a population of 5 million people. So it's tapped out pretty much. And you've got to start saying, well, where does the point where infrastructure, right, exceeds population in terms of the cost per person and cost per person living there and also in terms of retail tourism? It's pretty much tapped out. But then you come over down the bottom here and you can see we've got huge growth opportunities. Malaysia, obviously, it's about 35 million people. It's got obviously a fair ways to go to catch up to Singapore in terms of asset and experience. But we've got it's pipeline of growth. Then we've got those Asian nations on the bottom with big populations: Philippines, Vietnam, and then obviously, of course, Indonesia. These are where they've got patchy malls. I mean, if you look at someone like Lotte's mall in Vietnam, it's mind blowing. It's reflecting what malls are in Korea and in Thailand, but they're up and down. They're variable. The Philippines quality is generally quite low, with their population sizes, the ability to grow and create more malls and more developments. There's a lot of development going on in these markets because their population supports it, and with Asia Pacific's population, there's 3.5 billion people joining the middle class in this decade. There's huge potential and pipeline of work. But then we've got Thailand. Look at that, and that's an outlier, top right. The dream quadrant, if you will. They've got amazing asset and quality, but they're still, because they've topped into quality, they've still got much more growth. Thailand is 60 million people. Bangkok is a city of 15 million people. It's a mega city. Right? You don't travel between 9 and 8 and 10 in the morning and 4 and 6 in the evening because it's impossible to get around. There's so many people. So you've got a population supports this, and also mall operators, like I said, ICONSIAM, MBK, Central Group are delivering unbelievable development experiences.
Yeah.
And if you are going on a shopping tour in Asia to go and see iconic global brands and flagship retail, Thailand is your place. It will blow your mind. And so a lot of people think about white sandy beaches in Thailand and temples and those sort of things. Mate, don't forget the shopping malls in Thailand. Believe me, they will blow your mind. So a little bit about shopping malls in Southeast Asia.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Well, listen, I will let you crack on, finish the show, and I look forward to doing this again with you next week.
Absolutely. In 2 weeks' time, we'll be simulcasting live from NRF Europe. I know. I'll be a bit.
We'll have you there. We'll have Jill there, and we'll have Alexandra there. Alexandra is my EU correspondent. And so
maybe we could do a Five Things Friday.
Global edition.
Combined. Global edition, just a one-off special edition.
Yeah, absolutely. NRF Europe. I think Yeah, so
Let
she's
me put-
Parisian, so she'll be in hometown. So yeah, I think if we can, that'd be fantastic.
Let me see if I could talk to the NRF crew in Europe and see if we can get the main stage and see if we can get some quality time on.
Actually, we can
Yeah,
do what with the NRF APAC.
Correct. Let's do that. I'll let me work by magic and see
Work
what I
by
can
magic.
achieve here. Yeah,
Okay, well, I'll hold you to that, mate.
don't worry. I can be very
All right.
persuasive when I need to be. All right,
Fantastic.
take care.
All right,
Thanks, mate.
bye.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ryf. So let's crack on with the 3 other major news stories across the region. And we start with Uniqlo. Uniqlo is deepening its commitment to sustainability through its recycling fibers and turning them into new garments, which we've got to love, right? Polyester made from used plastic bottles is already in many core lines and recycled down from old jackets. And it's being reused in fresh collections. And it's not just a PR move, it's part of the Fast Retailing 2030 climate roadmap. For shoppers, it means that sustainability is no longer a niche option, but increasingly woven into the very basics that they buy season after season. Moving on, next from South Korea, we have MUSINSA, the country's dominant online fashion platform. It's stepping into a bigger stage by strategically partnering with Anta Sports, one of China's most popular authentic wear companies. The collaboration gives MUSINSA something it has long wanted, a clear path into the vast Chinese market. With Anta's retail network and cultural footprint, MUSINSA can bring K-fashion to a consumer base that is both massive and trend-driven. This deal reflects a wider theme. K-fashion is no longer content with regional success. It's aiming for a mainstream adoption in the world's largest battleground. I think this deal reflects a wider theme. K-fashion is no longer just content within regional success. It's actually a brand that is expanding globally within the verticals that they operate in, whether that's culture, whether that's beauty, and that's fashion. And I think this is a great example of that continued expansion. And finally, China's Revivo is making headlines again. And that's because it takes fast fashion globally. Already dubbed as China's answer to Zara, the brand is opening new flagship stores in London, Singapore, and Dubai, with more destinations on the horizon. Unlike some Chinese retailers that mainly target their domestic market, Urban Revivo is positioning itself as a global trend setter. Its formula is sharp, runway-inspired designs at accessible prices, delivered at speed. If successful, Urban Revivo could join the ranks of the global fast fashion giants and shift perceptions of Chinese retail from follower to leader. Together, I think these 3 stories highlight the diversity of Asia's retail momentum. Uniqlo shows how Japanese leaders are embedding sustainability into their businesses. MUSINSA underscores Korea's growing cultural and commercial influence. And Urban Revivo signals China's push to export not just products, but brands with global staying power. And I think the message is clear, and it's one that you hear from Ryf time and time again. Asia Pacific isn't just shaping the future of retail, it's setting the pace. And with that, thank you so much for giving me your time and ears for today. And I look forward to being back with Ryf and the team next week.